So, did you know that even professional artists still get tripped up or intimidated by a blank canvas sometimes? A huge empty white space can seem like a giant brick wall between you and your creativity. But don't worry, today we're going to jump into different ways that we can attack a blank canvas, get over that fear, and unleash your inner artist. So, whether you're just starting out or you're just looking to refresh your approach, this guy is for you. So, grab a pen and paper and let's dive in. Hello, I'm Allie, and this is my art channel devoted to helping creatives unlock their potential so you can spend less time beating yourself up and more time creating what you are passionate about. Don't we all wish that we could go back to just being a little kid and going for that blank piece of paper and whatever art supplies was laying around, didn't even care what color crayon we grabbed and just went for it. We just enjoyed the process. And that's what I think we need to get back to is just enjoying the process, whatever that may be for you. Now, I know the approach of just grabbing some pen and paper, scribbling around might not be the approach that you're looking for. And it definitely can give you a starting point. But if you stick around to the end, I will share my own approach to beginning a blank canvas. So anyway, you stare at the blank canvas and suddenly you're overwhelmed by all the possibilities. It's like standing at the edge of a diving board and you don't know if you should dive in or step away. This fear can hold you back from just exploring your creativity and creating amazing art. Here's the thing, acknowledging that there is this problem is really half the battle. And just admitting that there's this sort of little fear, whatever it may be, is the first step to overcoming it, like anything else. So, what are some techniques that we can use to fix this? One great way to start is to actually just get out a piece of paper, notebook, sketchbook, a pencil or a pen, and just start jotting down ideas, something that you want to create. It could be words, like you want to draw something joyful, or you want to paint a landscape of your childhood home, or someplace you like to go on vacation. It could be a gift that you're trying to give somebody, and you're just trying to brainstorm ideas and get some stuff down on paper. That's really the best place to start. You can jot down anything that comes to mind: colors, themes, random doodles, quotes, anything that sort of gets your juices flowing. And no one has to see this notebook. It can just be personal, and it doesn't matter if you mess up or there's ink stains on the pages or you have a bunch of erased spots. It does not matter. After you get a general idea, you've doodled just a little bit, you can actually create a sketch of your idea. So say you do want to do a landscape. A great thing that a lot of artists do is mapping out the composition on a mini piece of paper. So say you want to do a 24 by 30 inch canvas. Well, you could do a 3 by 4 inch little mini sketch of where you want everything to be. And you can see if it works out, and you only spent 10 minutes doing it. And then you can rip that page out of your notebook if you don't want to pursue it and you didn't waste that much time or expensive materials. Or you can be like, oh, that's a great idea, I'm going to pursue it. And you didn't invest that much into it to figure that out. This first initial step, especially since it's only going to be 5 or 10 minutes, can also help get over that perfectionism. One, no one's probably going to see it. And two, you can actually solidify the idea that you want to pursue. Another idea, if you don't want to use a sketchbook as a place to start planning out a painting, is to actually just pick some paper and some random art materials, set a timer for 5 minutes, and do anything that you feel. This is going to bring out that inner child of just doodling for fun. And it's just an exercise. You actually went and you created something. And if you just tear it up and throw it in the bin, that's okay. Then you can start implementing a small habit of going to this creative place each day and maybe increase the time that you go in there. Maybe 5 minutes one day, maybe 10 minutes, and maybe it becomes a 15-minute daily habit or ritual that you can go in, get some ideas down, plan out what you want to do. The more time you actually go to your creative space, the more likely you are to create in the first place. I absolutely love this quote. I don't remember who said it, but it says, I only write when inspiration strikes. Fortunately, it strikes at 9 a.m. every morning. So if you just set a small goal of, okay, I'm going to go into my office or at my dining room table, or maybe you do have a studio and you're going to just go there 5, 10, 15 minutes each morning or evening, just as a way to get out some creativity and to get in the habit of doing it, I think you'll really see taking those first steps really get the ball going. Most people believe that creativity and being artistic is some gift that we've been bestowed, but it is not. I don't believe that for a second. I will have to find some old drawings that I did as a kid or in high school, and you'll see that everyone has a starting point. It's really persistence and perseverance that you have if you want to be creative and you want to create something, or you want to paint a painting. You need to hone your craft by learning techniques, gathering information, reading books, and then applying what you learn and practicing it. Now, here is the real truth about conquering a blank canvas. The truth is that the first mark is usually the hardest. And once you actually do it, then every subsequent mark you question less and less. And there's actually a very simple way you can just get over this, and it's to take a big brush and just go all over the canvas, or just make one big bold brush stroke. It doesn't have to be pretty or perfect. Just let it be free and expressive. This one act can shift your mindset from fear to excitement, because fear and excitement is held in the same part of your brain. So if you think, oh, wow, this is exciting, all of a sudden you're not scared anymore, you're excited. And so you've sort of tricked your brain into getting over that fear. You're going to decide, oh, I'm going to do this next or that next. And honestly, if you don't like it, you can always cover it up. After that initial brush stroke, everything is going to flow much easier. And if you end up not liking the entire painting, I give you permission to throw it away or paint over it, because honestly, that painting will lead you to the next painting, which will probably be a good painting. It might even be a breakthrough piece. You just have to allow yourself to get started and make some bad paintings to get to the good paintings. My personal mentor sent me a picture of the back of his pickup truck full of canvas, the whole bed full to the top. And it's his yearly run, taking his canvases to the dump every year. He just gets rid of all the ones that, just didn't make the cut, and it's okay. He's a professional artist, and we all make bad paintings sometimes. And the fear of making a bad painting that comes from these external factors of not being good enough or someone not liking it, you only have to show the paintings that you like to people, and the ones that don't make the cut, you can just get rid of or paint over and repurpose. Also, if none of those practical tips interest you, I will share my own personal way of attacking a blank canvas. And that is actually with a plan. This is my favorite way to attack a canvas. I tend to have less paintings that end up in the bin, which is still a fair amount, but I tend to have less of them when I decide ahead of time what it is I actually want to paint. I have used a sketchbook before, but another way you can do this is either creating a Pinterest board or just creating your own sources. A lot of times I'm doing commissions. I still do portraits, and I have a photo that I'm working from. I play around with the colors in different editing software. I come up with the color story, what the clothes colors are going to be, what the background colors are going to be. And those limitations actually are helpful because I know what direction that I'm going to be going into. A lot of the other things that are great about having a commission is the size is usually decided by who is getting the painting. And amongst those other things that maybe you get overwhelmed with when you're at a craft store deciding what size painting that you want to do. So this idea of having a plan may seem counterintuitive to the big brush stroke on the canvas, like I said before, but the type of planning that I do does allow for that, because the first step of my process is creating the source or getting a photo reference of something that I'm going to incorporate, and maybe using some software to change the contrast a little bit to create a source that will help me bring the painting to life. Once I get that, I usually sketch the outlines onto my canvas. And there's several ways you can do this. You can use the grid method, you can use a projector, you can just hand sketch it. You can use transfer paper. And if you'd like to see a video on how all those things can be used, I'd be happy to make one. Just let me know in the comments below. The next thing I do is I usually fix it with a clear fixative spray. And then I like to put modeling paste on my canvases. That's just something that I like to do with every painting that I do. I know that I love texture, and I'm going to incorporate it in some way. And I have fun with that part of the process. After that dries and I actually get to the painting part, I'm going to work on the background with high flows and acrylic inks. And this part is the fun part where I can just do those fun big brush strokes, and it really doesn't matter what's going to be in the background because it will probably be covered up in some fashion. It'll be either glazed over or completely covered up by another brush stroke. So this is part of getting over the fear of a blank canvas, thinking that every brushstroke has to be perfect. For me, it's just simply working in layers, having that plan, having the steps in my process that work for me. And then after those initial brushstrokes, I go right into painting. And there's already such a good foundation laid down on my canvas that I can see where the painting is going. Let me know if you'd like to see another video explaining how I work in layers or how I create sources, and I'd be happy to make a video like that for you to summarize the different tips that you can do to attack a blank canvas. Just acknowledging the fear, brainstorming ideas on paper or in a notebook. Or in a notebook, sketching a little sketch to decide what kind of composition that you want to have for whatever kind of painting that you want to do, using a 5-minute timer just to get started and get creative juices flowing, picking a limited color palette of your favorite colors, and just making that bold first brushstroke. And if you're like me, having a plan. And then allowing myself to be free in the process. Having a plan might seem limiting, but it allows me to have more control over what I'm doing and also allow myself to have creative freedom, if that makes sense. It's kind of like having a budget. When you have a budget, people think that's really confining and that you like can't spend your money, but you're actually just telling your money where you want it to go. And it allows you to be more intentional with your money, and you end up having less stress and more freedom when you have a budget. Remember, the goal is just to have fun and express yourself. And if you really don't like what you've created, you have permission to get rid of it and just move on to the next painting or the next drawing. In my opinion, the only wasted paint is the paint left in the tube. So don't let that blank canvas intimidate you. I'd love to know which tip or trick you like the best, or test one of these tips out as an experiment to see which one maybe you like, because whichever one that you end up liking can become a part of your own creative process. If you also have some good tips for attacking a blank canvas, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if it was, I'd love for you to check out this next video that I think you'll enjoy as well. And if you haven't already today, go get creating.